Derech sheker asem meni v'sroscha chaneni. Derech emuna b'charti shtech shvisi. V'vakt v'desecha Adonai. Alta v'shteini derech v'secha orutz ki sarchev libi.
I just would add in here that there might be a vav printed in some of the printouts. There's actually no dive, no vav in dive. So to skip to the base.
Gemei zakenayas orcha lishmak devrecha b'chol libi drashticha al dishgei mitzistecha b'libi tzvanti mesecha l'man lo yachtelach. Orchad noilam denga kikecha sos itzpat kol mishpdei picha derech desecha sosi kol gohain v'kedecha sicha v'abita v'chesecha ashtasha lo yeshkach devrecha. You don't have the sheen here? Okay. Soin libi hema tisi libi lasois kakaloilam ekev shien don with the funny chinam medroch pachat libi so it's not going to come as shol rav shekas nesi v'aseva troslo hafti sheba biyoim lalticha al mishplis gacha shalom rav avsecha and I'll make sure the spadlish also noim tzusecha sisi shamra nafshi. Hey, the secho have him oit shmat b'gdecha secho kol drochen ekdecha mem. Mo avda secho kol yomi sechosi. Avda gomein secho loylem hi li. Kol nam de skalt get secho sicha li. Skenes dvanim dechas nesarti loyach roch li sinagloi leman esh medrecha. Shecho lesarti kaato eresoni. Hey, hey. It's Kosra Chayeni. Say Kaddish now. Say Kaddish.
Let's start to speak now.
Been thinking a lot about Grandpa over the last 8 months. The fact that I could always count on him to make a corny joke or make me feel important or share a bottle of scotch. Tell me to give. Just say Grandpa was born on the first night of Pesach, a fact that he truly loved. Every year we would have the Pesach Seder in his and Grandma's basement. And it was like a little birthday party that we could always count on and would never forget. At the Seder, Grandpa would read through and translate the Haggadah. Right at the beginning of Magid, when we start telling over Yetzias Mitzrayim, we read a line from the Haggadah that says, Kol dichvin yesav yechal, kol ditzriach yesav yisach. Or in English, whoever is hungry, let him come and eat. Whoever is in need, let him come and conduct the Seder. This statement is a call to anyone that cannot provide for themselves or anyone that feels out of place to find comfort and friendship at our table. This statement that Grandpa would read every year on his birthday was something that he truly embodied. At shul, he would always say that Grandpa stayed to lock up because he would be talking with anyone and everyone, especially guests that were visiting. Members of the community and all my friends would call him Grandpa. Grandpa had a standing meeting with those collecting for charity every Friday at his office. There was even a notice up on the front door of the office letting people know exactly when to come. Grandpa would help people find employment or loans, even hire them himself just to give them enough skills to get a job elsewhere. These are only a few examples. Since he passed away, all of us have heard stories of Grandpa's kindness and generosity that nobody except maybe Grandma knew about. I don't think we'll ever understand the true extent of his generosity. He did none of this because he wanted praise or recognition. He did it because he was able to, and those he was helping were not. Whoever is hungry, come and eat. These are words that Grandpa's children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren can hear every year on Grandpa's birthday. And know how to go out into the world and conduct ourselves. I hope and pray that we can live up to Grandpa's example, though I realize that it may be impossible.
Masked by the family previous Christian. I expect those on Zoom to be muted. I've been asked by the family to go through it. Vayar menucha kitoi, bracha of Yaakov is the bracha of Yaakov that he gives to Yisachar. Really, it's the second half of the pasuk that really resonated. And Eric, please correct me if I'm wrong. Vayar menucha kitov is arts kinaima. Ayet shichmo is bizbo. Vayila matzeivah. So besides the pun of mas that he worked with taxes, but what resonated with me was when you described how hard he worked from a very young age to support the family, and he knew that the land offered opportunity, but really can only be achieved through very hard work. Poi nikvar ish yashar v'yakar, Rabbi Yisachar Doiv, Rabbi Moshe Zelig, Olav Shalom Spiegel, Nasa v'nasan be'emuna. I don't know anyone who worked as honest and as straight as he did. If you were privy to any email that he sent, whether it was business related or for fighting for the shul, he only knew a straight way, an honest way, and it could have been criticism on the left of him or the right of him. There had to be an honest way. Hishkim Litfila, he got up to daven, B'zei Asapav v'chaste Shomayim, Yachad Imra Yasei HaMesura, Hikimu Bayis ve'esek l'shem v'tiferes. The Spiegel household is as common and as famous, if you will, for its righteousness as Spiegel and Associates is. And he speaks about Spiegel and Associates, it's not only the people he works with, but his entire family. Kibenu mechubed ala brias, ohav v'radav shalom, v'kibel kol adam b'chedva slave, u'ma'or panim. U'b'mili d'chachma u'melitza, and with wise words, his knowledge of everything from history to geography to politics really astounded me. And he always had a wit about him. I spent many a Sunday afternoon at the Spiegel home, and while I was in the basement, I always heard laughter from above, and usually it was Mr. Spiegel keeping quite a raconteur, I guess is the word, with his relatives and keeping them laughing. Kirvam lamakam b'dibura v'ishiyusei haneimim, his pleasant personality and the way he spoke. But after all is said and done, ateret v'nachas chayav is mishpachta yiladav nechadav v'ninav. His family was everything to him. Hamechabdim u'mokirim ezichroi, who honor and really cherish his memory. Noiled leil aleph dechaga Pesach Taf Reish Tzadik Vav, and that ties into what Arya said. Kol Dichven Yesav Yechol, he was born on Chag Pesach and Niftal Beis Selama v'Shabbos Kodesh Chav Dalet Shvat Tavshin Pei Aleph Teinish Masay Tzura B'Tzrach Hayim Shem Imoy Frumit Gitol Alei Shalom. At this time, if Rabbi Lori wants to summarize the event today, thank you.
I feel bad I can't attend personally, like Bunny, besides being a member of our shul, I felt him as a very close friend. From the day I came, always was there to always give me courage, encouragement. And this week's parsha we read Noach Tzadik Hoy B'Doroi Sov. So the Medrash says that Noach lived 3 generations. He lived the time before the Mabel, he lived the time during the Mabel, and he lived the time after the Mabel. And in every situation, Noach was a tzaddik. Before the Mabel, the way he associated with people, what he did for people. During the Mabel, where he took care of the whole Bria, he took care of every creation in the world, every creature. And after the Mabel, where he built up the world again. We could say the same thing. Bani, Zechariah Bracha, lived the time before the Holocaust, the time where there was an American Holocaust. There was a spiritual Holocaust here, there's a physical Holocaust in Europe, which Baruch Hashem, his wife, Chazain Gesundheit, came from there, and that from the both Holocausts, there was a time where there weren't too many people like Bunny, who was born in those years and went to yeshiva afterwards and was able to go and build such a beautiful family, educate such a beautiful family. Someone who lived in a time where before the Holocaust over here in America, there was a different type of Holocaust. And during the Holocaust and after the Holocaust, Bunny and his wife built up such a beautiful family. And if anything could really tell us who Bunny was, the Torah tells us he was a tzaddik, tomim, hoy b'derois of zelikim misalach noach. So the Mefarshim say, tomim hoy b'derois was somebody who was was always nice to everyone in this generation. How many people he helped out, which I personally know, helped out with his accounting, helped out with giving them proper advice, and how many people who needed any help, he was there. And the person, always a nice word for everybody, always nice smile. With a smile, he could do much more. B'shanayim could do much more. Always, Bunny was always there with the rights of everyone loved him. He was a person who loved everybody else. He was a person, but it's a lekimis halach. He also went with the Rebbeinu Shloim. Someone who was a tzaddik and a tamim, to gotun to light. Someone like Bunny was to gotun to light. He was for everybody. He did everything for anybody. He was help people, cared everything, and his business ethics was so proper. And the same time, the Erlichkeit that he had, the Salakimis Alach Mayach, that he went with Rabbeinu Shloim, and he forged his life with Hashem. How many times he called me up with Shilas? Everything he did, he had to do. If he did something in business, he had to know exactly the halacha. And especially, we know the Chaver Kadisha, the cemetery that he's buried in. He was who put his life into it. He put his soul and life into it. That everything should be exactly the way it should be. The covet everyone should get, the proper covet everyone should get. And there's nobody equal to Bunny. Every year when we had the meetings with the Zayin Oder, we had the public meeting, and he came and gave a full report, the Ehrlicher report. Every penny was accounted for. Yeah, that anything that happened, it was, like I could just imagine Bunny in front of me, like standing, everything has to be Ehrlich. It has to be correct. It has to be correct. There are many different type of accountants, but here is a person who showed us. I mentioned once was at an accounting conference for Aguda. So someone came and said, you can't be an Ehrlich accountant. You can't be an Ehrlich accountant. I said, there's no such thing can't be. I know somebody who's so Ehrlich, and he is a proper accountant and gives the proper advice. And there's nothing in the Torah you can't do according to Torah. Like the Chofetz Chaim writes in his Sefer, that people say you can't keep Lashon Hara because it's so hard. So he said, if you learn the halachos, you'll know exactly what you could do, and then you do things properly. That was Bunny. Every word he said, never to hurt anybody. He was so far, but to him to hurt somebody was like the worst thing you could do. Oh, and being involved in public life like Bunny was, people sometimes do throw stones at you. And Bunny let the stones fall off from him, slide off, and took it with a grain of salt, and did everything with the beautiful. The main thing is the beautiful mishpacha that he built. In our Besmedrish, we really miss Bunny. For a few years already, he wasn't feeling good. But anytime he came into the Besmedrish, came to a shir, everything, always with a smile, always with the Ehrlichkeit. And with his chashuv wife, that everything they did together, the biggest example of seeing Shalom Bayis is you could work with your wife all day and stay home and have the most beautiful, beautiful life together. The love they have to each other, the care, the respect. It's unbelievable what they did for each other the whole life. We miss Bunny a lot. But one thing we could remember how a person could have a life of Tugot to light. Somebody who knows how to, value everything, value the mitzvahs, and value the benod machavera, value to be nice and cordial and do everything perfect. Benod machavera and benod mamakam. If there's somebody, an example of that, and everything is hashgacha pratis that we have the Hakomas Matzeivah in this week's parsha, this depicts the person who lived in America in the days where America was toiv avoyu, was void, was nothing. And his mother went, it was my Nefesh, sent him to yeshiva and sent him to learn. And I remember once I was driving with him in New York, and we were speaking about Torah V'das, the way she went and was my Nefesh, that you should learn, Baruch Hashem, and she built this beautiful family. How many families from those generations? We have a beautiful family like Bunny and his wife's family, the beautiful family. It's only from the Ehrlichkeit of the Tamimus, the Deroisov, all the generations, always Tomim means someone who doesn't have any questions, who is perfect with Hashem and knows everything Hashem does is perfect. And that was Bunny. Bunny. And Rabbi Shem, he was born on the Pesach, Ari mentioned before, first night of Pesach, which is the night which shows who Klal Yisrael is. Klal Yisrael goes through the Golos, goes through the exile, but perseveres. You go through all the types of different exiles of physical tormenting and spiritual tormenting, and to be able to withstand that. And that was Bunny. Bunny was a person who understood, and always with a nice gleich word, always everything with a nice story, something to depict how beautiful it is to be a Yid. And I think that was the main thing. Bunny showed us how beautiful it's to be a Yid, how a Erlich Yid, someone who went through yeshiva and someone who and went to work afterwards, and both together worked. You put it united together. One is not a contradiction to each other. You could be an Erlich an accountant, I mean Erlich a Yid, and everything, his davening and his learning and his ben Odom Achveri, his ben Hoga between people, and especially you see it in his family, the way he cared so much about his family, took his family into the business. They worked together all these years, and every year when he came out to, he came to bring me a whole list with Mechiras Chametz and everything written down, everything exactly. But the main thing is, he was a person that everyone loved, someone who was lebrios, kol sheruach habriyos noichem and ruach hamokim emene. It's anyone that people love, Hashem loves them, and anyone Hashem loves, people love, and that's who Bunny was. He was beloved by everyone. Anyone who anyone ever had any association with him saw the person who was so good and so light. Bunny, we miss you so much. Feel bad, that when in a time when there's this pandemic, there's gezeira from the Rebbeinu Shalom, we don't understand. But Bunny, you're the first one to go up to Shemaim to daven for everyone, that everyone should be well. You should have your choshev wife that you loved so much and you cared so much about. You should have so much nachas from every one of your children and grandchildren and great grandchildren. Should be zoicha to see that your killer that you cared so much about should prosper, and everyone should be well, and it shouldn't be any more chas v'shalom tzoros and Klal Yisrael. Bunny, we remember you. We remember how a person could be an Erlich Yid. We remember how a person could really work on himself and be oisgarbet in every way. The Rebbeinu Shalom should help that you should be a Meilitz Yosher for your choshev wives, and your choshev children and grandchildren, and it should be a Meilitz Yosher for all your friends who cared so much, all your special friends, and all the people that you cared so much about. The Rebbeinu should help that we should be zoicha that next time we meet will by Tchias HaMeisim, Mashiach comes, but now we put up a Matzeivah. Matzeivah is just a little stone that says in a few words. You have to put down a lifetime of 85 years in a few lines, but the few lines teach us, when you come there and you read those lines and who the person was and what kind of person he was, others learn from him. Your children and grandchildren are following your example in every way. We should help that we should be zoicha to see only nachas by everyone, be zoicha to see the B'yas HaGorel b'meir b'yameinu. Someone should make a kel mole.
Rachamim Shoichain Bamroimim Hamitzayim Chanechayino Al Kanfei Ashechino V'malois Kedoshim U'Tahirim Kizoyar Kiya Mazkirihim Es Nishmas Av Yisachadoi V'Moshe Zelek Shahalach V'Yolamoi Bavur Shikol mishpachtoi noidim tzedakah baras karas nishmasai. V'ganeyita tehei v'nuchasai. L'chein balarachamim yastireyu v'seisa kilofo. Liyoilovim Yitzhoi b'tzorachayim es nishmasai. Adonai yulach losai. Tinuach hamishkal b'shalai v'loi v'aravei.
Akiva?
Yeah, I'm here. I'll offer people to put stones on.
You just come sit here. It's much comfortable.
I would like to thank everyone who joined. On behalf of the family, if you'd like to leave a message for the family, they would be getting a copy of it. If anybody wants to speak up and say a few memories at this point, please feel free to do so. I'd ask the host to rotate it, but this officially ends the ceremony at this time. Thank you.
So we will leave this going, and I'll just ask one person at a time to unmute and to share some thoughts with the family, because they will surely appreciate having this video and hearing your comments. So who will be first? No need to be shy. Just unmute yourself and you can start to speak.
Hello. Hi.
You're on.
Hi, this is from it. The only person, immediate family missing from the ceremony, from Bunny's daughter. And I just want to say I'm sorry I'm not there to be with everyone. And it's hard to believe it's been 8 months and I really miss my dad. So, all right, you should an aliyah to Shemayim, full aliyah soon.
Thank you. Please don't be shy. I see Mr. Nussbaum is speaking, but he's on mute. Please just feel free to unmute yourself and then you could share some thoughts.
Hi, it's Yasmin from its daughter, also in Israel. Unfortunately, I don't have a long time to speak, but I'm devastated that I couldn't be there for not the funeral and not the unveiling, and I'm devastated that I couldn't be there for more holidays, and very hard to see. And I'm lost for words. I miss Grandpa so much, and I wish I had more time to spend with him. And I know it's a privilege living in Israel, and I love this country, but it's unfortunate that I won't get to spend more time with my grandfather and the Spiegel side of the family. Bezrat Hashem, I'll be able to, but it won't be the same. Grandpa won't be there.
Hello,
Please go ahead.
I'm Bunny's cousin, Bernie. We carry the same name. He was one of a kind. I don't know anybody else that I would say that about. Even in the Matzeivah, Isha Shavi Yakar, he was one of a kind in this world, and I loved him very much. Too bad.
Adrian, it's Sarila. We calling. I just saying the Shema should have an aliyah, and we will miss so much, and wish you should have lots of nachamas, and your whole family should have nachamas.
Well, I'm just going to say a very few words because words are really inadequate. With colors, there are about 1 million different hues, but we don't have words for each of the hues. And when it comes to emotions, although there are fewer emotions, emotions blend and there are no precise words to express the feelings that we have at times like this. So I will just say that Uncle Bunny was a a role model. As Rabbi Lowy said, he was Tzagat and Tzalat, and our greater family believed in that. And he was a wonderful example. And we love him and we miss him. And I think that's as much as I can say in words.
Hey, Yossi. Yes.
Yes.
So you remember Bunny from our days in shul, right?
How could we forget?
Right. He was a man. He was always, he always had a smile for everybody, no matter what. Even if you took his last piece of Tam Tams with liver, you remember those?
Sure.
And he was always good natured. He's one of these statesmen.
And he was good, and he was equally comfortable with a Satmar Chusid and a Tzioni and whoever it was. He knew how to make that person feel comfortable.
Right, and his wisecracks were always welcomed.
Witty and never offensive.
Right. Yeah. Anyways, his Binyamin, this is for you. I would come over to your house anytime I came over. He always smiled, no matter what I was coming over to do or bring or take. He had a smile. So I remember him that way. All the best. Thank you.
Only one thing. Oh, I need
Hello.
Hello, please speak. We all hear you.
My name is Gilda Bennett. I'm a first cousin to Bunny. His mother and my mother were sisters. My mother's name was Rivka. And I remember my husband passed away in March, and he was a CA also, and he gave some papers to Bunny when he was studying. And I'm sure, they worked hard to get their designation to be CAs. And should give him a lot of credit for, working and bringing up his family. And his parents died when he was young. And there should be simchas from now on for the new year. Thank you.
Hi, this is Marna on behalf of Myron and Marna Schreiber, niece and nephew to Uncle Bunny. We just wanted to say that we miss Uncle Bunny very, very much. He's always been a wonderful example of kindness, thoughtfulness, and sensitivity and caring. And we hope that we can carry on those mitos of his, and we emulate them and we appreciate them. And we hope that we can live up to his example. We miss him very much, and we send Hakomas to the family. Yehi zichro baruch.
So it seems like everyone is done. So I'm going to give it another 60 seconds and then we will shut it down unless someone feels that they want to share some feelings.